Good afternoon, everyone. Food spiking in 19-month highs. Superstorms ripping apart solar panels and windmills in the UK. Also, food troubles in Africa. But Russia's there to pick up the pieces. Let's take a look at how high food's going to go from here. Looking at the loop for Storm Darragh, smashing through the UK. Wales, Ireland, just ripping it to pieces. The wind flow north to south. Snow, hail, sleet, north, wind, floods, damaging gales south and the rest. The further north you go, the more ferocious it is. And those are not some small cliffs, might I add. Waves smashing in. And how far do you think that mist would travel inland is the question. Because looking at the damage here, storm wreaks havoc on UK's largest solar farm. 190 acres of prime agricultural land in Wales. Now, broken glass that has to be replaced. We don't have a way to pick up Humpty Dumpty on this one. Think of every panel as a little Humpty Dumpty. So let's take a look at the damage. As far as the eye can see, well, an enormous amount of that will need to be repaired. There might be a sliver, maybe 1/30th or 1/35th of the panels not damaged. But again, you know, the electronics on how they relate and couple together. And if we look at the windmills, you can see they were ripped off. The stanchions, there's one down, one still attached. But if you look in the background, you can see three more. The blades were ripped clean with the turbines. That's a rebuild in action there. I wonder how they can recycle all those blades as well. And everywhere you look, there's just debris laying everywhere. This was a major catastrophic storm. Even Net Zero Watch picking it up. Storm Darragh leaves UK biggest solar farm in pieces. It wasn't just 190 acres. It was the largest one in the UK, period. So here's what the damage looks like. Better view after the fog is cleared and the storm has left. It would actually be cheaper just to go from scratch and reinstall it than it would be to rip all this out and then reinstall it. Plus, you might ask yourself, where does all this e-waste go to? I don't have an answer. China? Maybe. Because sideline winds also bent framing on this. Not just that the panels were destroyed, but the framing was bent. So this is a near total loss. It will have to be completely ripped up. How many man hours, how much toxicities left around there, and then the rebuild. So that'll be it. So then where are they going to choose another almost 200 acres? That's pretty flat. That meets some of the conditions that sunlight hours in a certain number of days per year. You know, it's difficult to find that area of land that's not inhabited across the UK. So this is a near total loss. And would you rebuild again? Will insurers allow them to rebuild in the same exact location is more the question. Of all the damage in North Carolina, and like, well, you can't go back to your home because there was a once in a 1,000-year flood that occurred that you're never allowed back to rebuild your homes or even go gather your possessions in North Carolina and some of the valleys there. Would that not also be the same? Well, you can never build in this same area again. A lot of questions are going to be asked during this time about how resilient this technology really is. It turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not carbs or fat or even probiotic-rich foods. Nope. The end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch which you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this caloric bypass. And by activating this specific process in your body, he's seen thousands, yes, thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health that they had in their youth once they simply addressed this one key to better health. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using this research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone, his health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date, and you can watch and learn more about it at thehealthyfat.com/adapt. And he'll teach you exactly how he's kept his weight off for free at thehealthyfat.com/adapt. Click on that link in the description box below. And now on with the video. But on the good news here, recycling lags for some green energy materials, but it's also increasing year upon year for most of them, except for nickel. But I'm sure the lithium and the cobalt will be pulled out of those panels. But again, paying somebody in the UK as a labor cost to recycle the materials in the UK versus sending it to China to recycle it, that's a different animal and cost ROI itself. And I agree with this statement. Don't cover our fields, our primary crop growing areas with solar panels. Cover our car parks and parking lots, which is tear down a piece of paradise and put up a parking lot. There's millions of acres of parking lots. And it would keep the cars cooler. Why don't we do that? Why are we using farm fields? And I would say, why is there not a Manhattan Project style to cover our parking lots just like this to produce our electricity instead of using virgin farmlands? Speaking of which, this is hay blown through a 4x4 woven fence. But that's hay that broke out of either round bales or square bales, whatever it is, and it, with high velocity in the wind, kept wrapping around. That's an incredibly beautiful. This is something people would come and see and take photos of. Save the fence. And you just spray it with lacquer or something. Save the fence. Coming to us from Somerset. Also, there were an enormous amount of reports of just strange crisscross star patterns as the jets were leaving. Were they trying to avoid the storm, or what did that turn into? But looks like Christmas Eve. Santa on the sleigh. Crisscrossing stars mark the storm's way. And over to the UK also, they're putting this, I don't know, some kind of adjuvant into the cattle fodder. No methane. Okay, great. But again, support animal rights. Support the rights of cows to fart. My fart, my choice. I support the cattle to have choice. Smash that like button if you think cows should have choice to fart also. And this one, believe it or not, is search and rescue operation using these new units here. How much ground could you cover? You can see some of the damage fall. Now, how long would it take you to hike up through there? They were trying to get to a mountain peak to survey. And this is a one-way trip very quickly up the mountain. Now, there's fences there, fallen debris, still misty conditions. I mean, really, how long would it take you to walk up there compared to literally flying? Which also, double-edged sword of, you think you're way out there on your property and, 6 or 12 dudes rock in with these jetpacks. Are you as far out in the countryside as you think you are? Because global food prices rising to a 19-month high. It's led by, believe it or not, vegetable oils, 32% rise. But, that is the easiest thing to make. Corn oil, soy oil, whatever. Why are the prices going up? Like, where's the deficit in oilseed crops? That's more the question. But here, FAO's patting themselves on the back. Yay. It's not as high as it was before. 19-month high, but don't worry, it's not as high as it was at all-time record highs, but we're getting very, very close. You see that? It's like they're trying to justify the raise of inflation for food. It's insane. Like, how do you justify that? And here off Zero Hedge 2, just last month, October 4th, they had another article about it, jumping to 18-month highs. So now we're at 19-month highs. And the way I'm looking around the world with just so many devastating events on our crops right now. Floods, fires, droughts, and conflict. That's going to go to a 20-month high. And where does it stop? Nobody knows. I want to rewind you to a couple videos ago last week. I was talking about South Africa being a major corn exporter to the rest of Africa, but this year they need to import corn because they don't have enough crops. It was so adverse, the conditions of whatever happened down there with the wind and the cold, that they couldn't get crops on. So they need to import corn. So where are the rest of their buyers in Africa going to get it, is the question. Oh, wait, Russia-African nations trade. Here's your blocks for you. Egypt taking the lion's share. No pun intended with the Sphinx. Algeria. Senegal, and then we find South Africa at 0.34. So There's going to be a switch of inbound grain crops. Ukraine's offline, South Africa's offline. Africa needs a lot of grain. And then you wonder why the prices are going up for oilseed, because they use a lot of oilseed, so they're pulling it from the market. There's no smoothing any longer. It's just plain shortages happening. This will give you a good indication of where that finance is going to come into. But you might want to think about some storable foods yourself. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030. Get the 4-week food kit and some free bonuses when you order today. That link's in the description box, along with civilizationcycle.com. Join us there. Podcast is rocking, and our Thursday night radio show is still going live on Rumble. Join us there every Thursday night, 10 p.m. to midnight. I left some links for the stories down in the description box so you can chase those leads down yourself. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here in the conversation with me. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.